are you?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm pretty good. What are you up to?
I actually just finished eating one of my snacks as part of my Zone food blocks.
What's a food block?
So the food block is actually part of the Zone diet, which is a diet that focuses on maintaining a proportion of 40% of carbohydrates, 30% of protein, and 30% of fat in every meal.
Wait, so what's a food block?
Oh, do you want to take a seat first and I'll explain it to you?
Sure, sounds good.
Okay, so food block is actually part of the two approaches that you can use to follow the Zone diet. So the first one is a hands-eye approach. So you can use this to tell you a few things. So this is mainly used by beginners, but you have 5 fingers, so it tells you that you can eat 5 times a day, and you can't go longer than 5 hours without eating a meal. And you can also use your palm to help proportion some of your portions. And when it comes to your eye, you can look at your plate. 2/3 of it should be carbohydrates, 1/3 of it should be protein, and you should have the tiniest bit of fat in it. But when it actually comes to the Zone food blocks, so this is a bit more complicated, and it really does depend on your weight, your age, your hips, and your waist measurements. So when I first found out that I can eat 11 food blocks a day, which means I can eat 11 blocks of protein, 11 blocks of carbohydrates, and 11 blocks of fat per day. So I just finished eating half a cup of strawberries, so that is approximately about a block of carbohydrates. And each meal should actually be about 3 to 5 blocks in each meal, and a snack should have about 1 block of each.
So does it work?
Well, let me show you this video I actually made. I feel like it's more informative.
Okay.
The Zone diet was created by Dr. Barry Sears over 30 years ago, who links the basis of the diet to evolution. He says that our bodies 8,000 years ago and our genetic makeup were not made to process grains, bread, and pasta like we consume now, as they were not part of our diet back then. Evolution is a slow process, and therefore we need to eat food that supports our genetic makeup to allow it to easily break down and process the food. Therefore, the diet focuses on maintaining a proportion, as mentioned, of 40% of low-density carbohydrates, 30% of dietary fat, preferably monounsaturated fat, and 30% of protein. There are also a number of basic rules that should be followed in the Zone diet. The first one is that a meal or snack should be eaten within the first hour of waking up. The interval between main meals should be between 4 to 6 hours, and a meal should be eaten 2 to 2.5 hours after a snack, whether you're hungry or not. And the last one is a very basic rule that we all should follow, is that 8 glasses of water should be drunken per day. So, the composition of the diet is all about entering the zone, which is a state where there is controlled inflammation, meaning you can perform at your most optimal state and lose weight at the fastest rate. So how does this happen? Well, reduced inflammation is a result of managing your carbohydrate intake, which will help maintain your insulin levels. High insulin levels are linked to inflammation, which is the root cause of many conditions and diseases such as obesity, heart disease, and cancer. So through this diet, it is aimed to reduce the chances of these conditions and reduce your future hospital visits. With the right balance in your diet, it is believed that you can control inflammation, as you can also control and manage 3 main hormones that impact inflammation: insulin, glucagon, and eicosanoids. So let's take a closer look into these hormones. The first one is insulin, which is used to absorb glucose from your bloodstream as energy and maintain low blood sugar levels. High insulin levels can be attributed to high carbohydrate intakes and eating too much, which is restricted by the Zone diet. High insulin levels can also be converted into additional fat. Therefore, by maintaining low insulin levels, this will help manage weight gain as well. The second hormone is glucagon, a mobilization hormone that helps release stored carbohydrates into your bloodstream. It is the opposite of insulin, as it helps prevent blood sugar levels from dropping too low. By managing your blood sugar levels by maintaining appropriate levels of insulin and glucagon, this will also help avoid long-term health issues and manage your weight. The third hormone the diet can control is eicosanoids, which are molecules made by polyunsaturated fat and can contribute to fevers and inflammation. As the diet encourages consumption of more monounsaturated fats, through the proportions of the diet, this can help limit how much polyunsaturated fat that is consumed. Therefore, the Zone diet helps maintain appropriate levels of all 3 hormones and allow them to maintain their functions, also reducing inflammation. With the hormone balance, there are a number of positive effects that can take place. Your body composition is now managed, and with low inflammation levels, this can prevent changing weight effects that come along with it. You will also have more energy because you are eating right and appropriate to your levels. Your blood levels are now stable, that will help reduce any risk of disease and help you feel better. And there will be overall improvements to your lifestyle as you are in your best state. As hormones are part of every aspect of your health, mentally, physically, and emotionally, it is no surprise that hormone imbalances put us at risk of health problems. Therefore, the diet will all contribute to a more positive well-being. Meet Mary. She's also confused and wondering whether this diet actually works. So let's see what evidence and criticisms exist out there. The basis of the diet is to reduce inflammation, which is caused by refined and processed food, which is supposedly key to help lose weight and prevent illnesses for all. As said, high inflammation can encourage illnesses such as diabetes, heart disease, and cancer, which means more doctor visits. UW Integrative Health said that a well-balanced diet includes an increase in omega-3 fatty acids and reducing saturated fats, which is part of the Zone diet, as you can see in the 30% requirement and encouragement of the consumption of monounsaturated fat instead. It further states that a well-balanced diet helps reduce inflammation, which is a key claim of the diet and is something that I believe is really plausible. Eating low GI carbohydrates is also key to the Zone diet, where the 40% of carbohydrates are encouraged to have a low glycemic index. Better Health stated that low GI carbs means that they have a lower effect on blood glucose as they are digested and absorbed more slowly, helping you feel fuller for longer. Therefore, your appetite is impacted, and this will help you eat less as you're not always hungry, which I believe is also plausible for weight loss. Similarly, a strict 30% protein proportion in each meal is also useful in eliminating overly processed food and carbs in your diet, where protein also takes more energy to digest than carbohydrates. And as we learnt in our lessons, increasing our energy expenditure to above our energy intake can also lead to weight loss. The Zone food block concept can also be useful in controlling the number of calories you eat per day. As the number of blocks are calculated based on your personal characteristics, this will help restrict the number of calories consumed to help optimize your well-being and prevent you from overeating, which I believe will also help with weight loss. Tracking your calorie intake can also help you from eating too much. What I found interesting was that there was also a 2002 study performed by Jarvis et al. To examine the effects of a 7-day Zone diet on 8 men. Performance trials were conducted before and after the diet, and it can be seen that after the diet there was a reduction in total energy consumption and body mass. However, performance time was not improved and not evidenced by the diet. However, it is important to note that this was performed on 8 men and therefore isn't a true representation across all people. There is also no direct scientific evidence existing to prove that improving your blood glucose levels will help reduce inflammation. So it is important to note that in 2019, any health claims made by the diet or any diet should be taken very lightly. There are also a number of other issues with the Zone diet. The first one is calcium intake. The Zone diet does not necessarily favor dairy products, and therefore it will be more difficult for you to obtain the right amount of calcium that you need comparative to a normal diet. There is also a chance of missing nutrients. You are following a very strict food restriction, and as such, this can prevent you from obtaining nutrients such as fiber and vitamin C. The third issue is that you may face a calorie restriction or a calorie deficit. People who follow the Zone diet strictly according to VAN 2010 will be eating less than 1,200 calories per day. And this may not be appropriate for everyone, as everyone has their own BMR needs and requirements in order to balance their energy expenditure. As such, you may face a calorie deficit, which may be useful for weight loss, but this can also result in hunger and less energy for you to complete your task per day, according to The Conversation in 2018. So will it work for you? I think it is important to note that the purpose of the diet is focused on reducing your inflammation levels, allowing you to enter the Zone, and allow you to lose fat at the fastest rate possible according to Healthline. Reducing inflammation will reduce any chances of chronic diseases and maximize your performance, and therefore the Zone diet is more than just losing weight. I do think it is plausible to take on the diet, as it will reduce your inflammation levels, as well as restrict your energy consumption due to a strict proportion in each meal, which will help you lose weight. I also think there is a strong link between the reduction in inflammation as well as a well-balanced diet, which is proven scientifically. Overall, I do think it is a good method to manage your calorie intake and is an easy start compared to other diets, as no food is completely banned on the diet. It is just encouraged to avoid such foods. Of course, if it fits your lifestyle, then the Zone diet is a great opportunity for you to get your hormones in balance.